Alrighty, guys, got my very good friend Jack on. Jack, welcome to the podcast.
Hello, mate. How are you?
Mate, I'm good. I'm missing you guys up there. I miss my girl Bree in training.
Mate, come on back to the coast then, brother.
I know. Okay, so guys, the reason why I got Jack on is a couple of weeks ago, I did a podcast on the absolute most fucking incredible onboarding experience I ever had, and I've been to probably well over 100 gyms. And I wanted to get the owner of that business on, which was my good friend Jack up in Gold Coast. So Jack, before we go into why you ran such a good onboarding experience and how your team is so professional, do you want to give us like a little 30-second rundown of what got you into the fitness industry and why you own a fitness business?
Mate, yeah, cool. No dramas at all. Probably what got me into the fitness industry as a kid, just like every other sort of PT, like we all love playing footy. We all love playing cricket and soccer and everything. So it's like, oh, why not try and become a physiotherapist? And then you get to uni and I did exercise science and I realized that physiotherapy was just going to be pretty much a glorified massage job. And I was like, I'm not really keen on that. So then I found PT, started working with some like junior athletes, which was like heaps and heaps of fun. But I found even with the junior athletes, adherence was really high. They didn't necessarily need you because they just wanted to go become pro. So you could write a really cool program, but they didn't really need you past program writing. Yep. Then moving into sort of this sort of space where the adherence is probably lower, but the people need the coaching more. So then your skills as a coach is more value because if you can get people to adhere to a program, you know they're going to get a great result. So the coaching side of things really started appealing to me. And that's when I started working in this space. And then, I've been here for nearly 10 years now in this space. So it's been unreal.
Mate, it's amazing. You own 2 clubs as well, which we're going to have a chat about in a little bit. And so guys, Jack's in our Inner Circle program. I was telling him before, he's like in the top 1% of the 1% of members we've ever had. You get your check-ins back on time. You reach out if you have any questions. We're solid on the ads as well. And you're just a really great leader. I love remember the slide we were editing about your team meeting that you're having the flow when I was talking about making the envelope thing. You just got such incredible communication skills. But mate, I guess what do you enjoy most about the Inner Circle program and working with myself and the team?
Mate, there's probably a couple of things. When I first got started, I've probably done it plenty of times before, but not for a long period of time. Is that one of the videos right at the very start you get started with is the creating an extra work day. So just scheduling your days and weeks a lot better with all your really big important tasks in your diary and just making sure they're locked into your diary. I think that's probably something I've gone in and out of before, but since joining the Inner Circle, I've been like super hard on that, which has made my days more productive. On the other end of it, like obviously after planning my weeks is then my weekly reviews. So every week is, Jimmy, I send you a big review of what my week's been like, the positives, the negatives, what I need to improve. And it's not so much actually sending it to you and then getting feedback from it. I think it's also just the self-reflection. Like the more I think about what's been good and bad in the week, the more I probably know the answers myself, which then means the questions I do ask you are less generic and more specific, which then means you can give me better coaching because my questions aren't just like, how do I get 10 clients? It's how do I do something that I need to like a 5% thing? Yeah,
mate, 100%. Your communication levels are absolutely world-class. So guys, I want to dive in with Jack about the onboarding because as you guys all know, I had the most incredible experience during the first 28 days at his club, and my trainer Bree was actually so good that now I'm still training with Bree and I live like 900 Ks away. Because they onboarded me so well, there wasn't an option that I would leave that facility, which as a business coach, Jack, I can't say how impressed I was. I wasn't expecting that level of service. It was absolutely incredible. So, mate, when a new client is starting in your business in the first 28 days, what do you kind of want their first experience? So that first time they walk into the facility, because mine was amazing. What are you kind of looking at within that first 1 to 2 hours of someone stepping foot in the gym?
When someone sort of first walks in the studio for their initial consultation, I think it's really important to think about what the client's going to be feeling when they walk in. So in the business that we work with, the majority of people that we work with, they don't love exercise. They're probably quite scared to come in. So whenever we've got a consultation, I'm always really hard on making sure the team know that Jimmy is coming in at 10 o'clock. He wants to run a marathon in 6 months, and he seems super nice on the phone. Make sure he's felt welcome. So we have a bit of a group chat, obviously, like everyone else does. So I always put that in the group chat that so-and-so consultation coming in.
So you communicate that in the group chat. We've got a new client coming. This is their goals.
Yeah. So then when, say, for instance, you walk in that front door, whoever's around on the floor is going to know that person's coming in straight away. So they can literally walk straight up and go, "G'day, Jimmy. My name's Jack. I've heard you're coming in today. I can't wait for you to get started with this. Jack will be 5 minutes away. He's just finishing off with his client. Would you like a bottle of water?" So just put that client at ease as quickly as possible. I think it's like really, really important when they walk in a bit anxious, scared, whatever the feelings are, that every single trainer says g'day, because that's probably the first thing, just to like know, like, and trust the people that you're going to potentially work with.
Oh, man, when my first session when I was coming, because I ran down, is I was shitting myself. I was like, you know, going in there, I'm like, will these people know me? Will Jack be there? Like all that kind of stuff. I walked in, you were there, which was good. And then the whole team came and greeted me by name. I was like, this is crazy. It was so impressive. They stood tall. They put their shoulders back, handshake. They moved on. They were still focused on their client. Like it didn't distract the whole room. Just so incredibly professional. And the water was a real good touch as well. I kind of like that. It was really good. And working with values of like, I thought it was just a really, really good touch. So those so you're really focusing on those first impressions, that first, 2 to 5 minutes is absolutely key.
Yeah, for sure. If they can walk in and within the first 5 minutes and feel quite comfortable, we know that when we start doing the consultation, they're going to be a better conversation because they do feel a bit more comfortable straight away. So then when we do the consultation, it's going to be a better conversation with better answers effectively.
Yeah. And mate, you're a pretty good runner, which is good. So let's have a chat about events, because you run some really amazing events and a broad variety of events that are incredibly exciting for the club. Tell me a bit about that, because it's an amazing way to get clients locked in, not for 28 days, but for literally like 9-10 months. So tell us a bit about that and why that works for you, and especially in the first 28 days of someone starting.
Yeah, for sure. I've sort of spoken to you about this from a client perspective, but I think it's really important that we not only just have your training with your trainer, but there's some things outside of the actual PT sessions that are going to want to make you stay with us. So we'll always have some sort of fitness event going on. Gold Coast Marathon was on the weekend. Obviously it was cancelled, but we still ran a virtual event. We still got about 30 clients to rock up and run a 5, 10, 21. Then we always have some sort of educational thing once a month. So a shopping tour or a seminar or something like that. We'll always have some sort of in-studio event once a month. And that's usually like a barbecue breakfast and an exercise session. Yep. And then whether it's quarterly or 6 monthly, there'll always be some sort of like proper social event. So in your case, like the wine tour. So that's next weekend.
I know. Yeah. I think I'm going to be locked out. If not, I'm running the border.
Yeah, we'll have to sort that one out.
Because I will see what happens. But I'm pumped for wine night. You got me done. Wine weekend.
But yeah, like in those things, it's like, let's get something fitness related. Let's get something education related. Let's get something fun for them they actually want to be a part of. And then they can sort of cover all those bases.
Yeah. And guys, I think like I'm going to speak from my perspective as like a paying client in circumstance. So like I'd moved to Gold Coast and I didn't really know anyone. Like I knew like 10 clients who I was like pretty good mates with, but it's like a working relationship. So to come into the family that you've created, like Bree was incredible. The trainers are all really nice and friendly. And then to have events, there was an event that I actually missed because I was working, but I saw it on video. It looked like literally like a party. Like the trainers were coming in with their hands up. And it was like educational. Then you had the shopping tour. And the way you locked me into a 21K event, which I couldn't make because of the lockdown, but then a 42K event, then a 50K event. And guys, I'm going to say this as a client at this stage. Now I can't leave Jack until Jan. I cannot leave his business, right? Unless I break my integrity, right? Which is just such an amazing thing to do. And you guys can do that with your clients as well, because you might have a wine night or a tough mudder or whatever your themes are with your business. I think it was just absolutely incredible the way you did it. Now, Jack, let's talk about just for a moment, getting attendance to events. Because I know a lot of fitness business owners would be watching this and they wanted to do a 10K fun run or wanted to do a marathon. And you mentioned about one of your trainers doing a marathon, you got the whole community around. So what's the key? So if I have an event in 6 months, right? What's the key to getting the members involved and actually wanting to go?
I can probably speak from both sides of it. Like, we've run some amazing ones and we've run some absolute fizzes. So I can probably say like, yeah, well, I guess we've all had a couple of like ones that just have bombed, right? Yeah. Looking back on it, I genuinely believe if that key person who's organizing it. So for me, for instance, I obviously love running events. Like, I can drag 50 people to a running event because of my genuine enthusiasm about it.
Oh, you love it. It's crazy.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like it's the best. Yeah. Like, I love taking people to running events. I love people like hitting that finish line feeling. I love the beers afterwards. Like, all that stuff is my thing. So if someone comes and goes, oh, like, I'd love to run a 5K, I'm all over it. Yeah. So I find for me, if I'm going to organize some sort of like triathlon running event, I can guarantee that I'll get 40 to 50 people there without too much effort, just purely off my enthusiasm.
Yep.
So I think the first thing, like, and same again, we've done different seminars. The person who's running that seminar, if they're super enthusiastic about that topic, they'll be able to get people there, because it won't just be, oh, we're running this event, it'd be really cool if you come. It's, I'm running this event, it's amazing, I can't wait to deliver all the stuff. Are you coming? So there's a big difference in language.
100%. 100%.
And then once you've obviously got that key person running it, then it's just every other marketing piece. It's the email, it's the text message, it's the private Facebook group, it's the talking in sessions, it's the announcements on the floor, it's all those things. But if it's not run by a person who genuinely wants it to succeed, it'll flop. Yeah.
Mate, I once ran a seminar with 2 people, Like, I thought I was going to get like 40 and it just bombed out. Now, you've had a couple of events. You had a couple events that can bomb, right? And I know a couple people in the fitness industry, they might do an event, 1, 2 people come, they're disappointed. When you have an event like that, what do? Do you organize your next one like quickly? Do you stop running events? You know, because how many are you running? 1 a month, 2 a month minimum?
Yeah, we're generally doing like 1 in-studio seminar.
Yep.
Or shopping tour. And then whenever the sort of fitness events are on, that's depending on when they're being sort of periodically organized. And then 1 sort of event outside of that. Yeah. So yeah, the education stuff generally work once a month.
Yeah. And then on your, like, with your events that don't go well, is there any review process, or do you just go like, screw it, I'm just going to go harder next time? Or how do you kind of improve on those? Because you'd be pretty masterful at setting them up now. You do 1 a month minimum. So you must have this thing dialed in.
Yeah, I think so. There's a few different ones. Like this year in particular, we were trialing some online stuff, because obviously last year with COVID, like everything had to be online. So we're like, oh, we'll continue running 50-50 online face-to-face. Yep. And face-to-face workshops were getting great numbers and our online was bombing. So we just thought, all right, we need to change it. Let's just get rid of the online stuff, go back all fully face-to-face. And then same again, we actually had to change some trainers that were running them, and then straight away, like, it worked again. So it's just reviewing it as well, making sure that everything we are doing is right.
Yeah. And mate, just finally on the onboarding, if you were having a chat to another fitness business owner in Australia or across the world, and they wanted to improve their first 28 days of a customer starting in their business so they become a raving fan, what couple of pieces of advice would you give them on what to focus on? Because I believe you have probably the best onboarding in Australia.
I reckon one of the things is what we call like the hooks. So how many hooks have they hooked in? So it's like a fish, right?
Oh, a fish? You're hooking me in.
Or a spider and a spider. Like, how many things are they doing? So like, you look at your key offerings in your business, and if you just have like personal training, that's 1 hook. But if you can get to an education seminar, there's 2. If you can get them to come to a group session that's run by a different trainer, so they meet 2 different trainers, there's 3. If they're doing like a private Facebook group that they're engaged in, that's 4.
Turning up like the run club, that 5?
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, coming to run club, signing up for 1, 2, like all those things. If you can get like, say for you, like you came to your consultation, your PT, your group training, you signed up for a run, you signed up for the wine tour, you came to multiple group sessions, and then you came and used the shoe on your own. You did 7 different things in your first 3 weeks.
Yep.
So I would probably say like you were very sticky to the business. So you'd done 7 things that hooked you in.
And I like that term, hooks. Did you pick that up from anyone, or it's a good term? I like it.
I've heard it. I don't know where it sort of came from, but yeah.
Makes sense, hey? And the more hooks, the better chance you have of reeling them in, right?
Yeah.
Mate, absolutely love it. Mate, we're gonna change gears a little bit, Jack, and talk about owning 2 clubs. Now, not many even if people in the fitness industry own 2 clubs. I know a lot of people would want to, so I think you can give them some really great inspiration and perspective. So, mate, I guess tell me a little bit about the differences in your everyday or weekly activities between when you owned 1 successful club to now when you own 2 really amazing facilities.
Probably the difference is my planning of days, to be honest. Like I just need to be like a whole lot better at making sure I structure my days better.
Yep.
Because I think when you're in one studio, like you've obviously got your weekly agendas and plans, but when you're stuck in one facility, not stuck in one facility, when you're in one place, if you miss, say, a catch up with a trainer, you can catch up them that afternoon or the next day, or same with a client. But when all of a sudden you're across 2 studios, if you miss that catch up with that trainer, you might not see them for 2 days. So you have to be very deliberate with all the things you need to do. So that's something I've been really mindful of, being very deliberate with, like, all right, if I need to speak to so-and-so directly today, making sure that happens, because otherwise I won't see them for 2 days, for instance.
Yep.
And then even with that, like with my boys that sort of are the key people in both my studios, just touching base with them a lot more. Because I like, one thing I'm quite good at is just that informal catch-ups. Yep. Hey, mate, how's the morning been? What's been happening? So now oftentimes I'll just quickly call them in the car. Hey, how's the morning? What's been happening? Anything to report? Because I used to just be able to stand and have a coffee with them, whereas now I probably can't.
Yeah. Communication. So planning is on point, and making sure you're disciplined to your diary. Because if you miss a day, it's going to either throw your day out tomorrow or you can't catch up with them. And communication. You've changed the way that you communicate between having 1 to 2 clubs, because you can't just, that coffee place we go down for coffee down past your gym that your client owns is amazing, but you can't do that every day because you're in between clubs.
Exactly.
This is absolute gold. By the way, is there anything else that's kind of changed, or anything that's like a little bit difficult you had to adjust to?
I think I've had this convo with you a couple of times. I found when I was just in one studio, because I was the key person, so a lot of the energies come off me. So in terms of, like, we talk about like the organic referrals, the culture of the studio, all that sort of stuff, all of a sudden when you split yourself in half, you get half that result, I guess.
Yep.
So then having to then be better with, say, for instance, like Facebook marketing and stuff like that, to make sure that we do get consistent lead generation. And then now trying to replicate teaching others how to be really good at creating that culture and that atmosphere to be that key person themselves. So there's 2 parts of it. Is one, being able to sort of step up a bit higher and become more deliberate with lead gen and stuff like that, and then the other one is trying to teach other people how to be key people. Yeah,
well, at 2, Clark, in 1, and I say this in a nice way, but running 1 compared to 2 is the easiest shit in the world. Adding 1, like once you have 1 and then the day you go to 2, you're like, fuck, I can't believe how good I had it just owning 1. It was crazy, right? And
it's totally different.
That Jack's saying is, when you have 2, you have to create more leaders, because in 1, you can have 1 really good leader in a gym, which is usually the owner, and it absolutely dominates, right? And you pick up the trainers and they're to check them and make sure everything's going well, because you're there a lot of the time, right? But when you have 2 and Jack's not there, he has to create other leaders. So the standards and the culture and the expectations of what we do in the business are there running on the couple of days a week that he isn't there and he's at the other gym. And that's where creating those other leaders and being guys, like the biggest difference I found, Jack, was the difference between 1, 2, and 3 was I just had to become a better leader. I couldn't be late for meetings. I had to be the best planned. I had to be always leading from the front, because if you missed a day, or if you weren't a great leader, or you didn't communicate effectively and efficiently and clearly, it just messed up your whole week. You'd get there on a Wednesday and someone's like, in the meeting, you didn't cover this and this clearly. And then, everyone's week just kind of like blows up. And it's all about leadership at two clubs, because if you can build one, you can build a second for sure. It's just whether can you be a leader to the team for them to do it. And brother, do you think you'll own a third or a fourth, or what are you thinking?
Mate, it's always been the goal. Yeah, I think like the way that we sort of took on our first one, like we took on our second one, a month before that first lockdown in COVID. So obviously there was a fair bit of let's just consolidate, let's get great money. How to buy a second gym, go and shut it down in the next week.
Before COVID, yeah.
So I think like the plan was always to do more. Definitely, the plan's definitely still to do more. I think it might have just got pushed back 6 to 12 months because it took me 6 to 12 months because I knew it was always going to take me 6 to 12 months to learn how to run two effectively. I had to run two while they were shut, and then I had to reopen them, and then I had to get them moving again, and then I probably had to spend 6 months learning how to run them well, and then so if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. But so definitely on the horizon, just when the time's right.
Yeah, for sure. And then, like you sort of said, it's about me being a better leader as well. Like it'll only grow at the level that I grow at.
Yeah, 100%. So, mate, thank you so much for coming on. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you even more for having an amazing gym. And then we give you 3 thank yous. Maybe it's a bit much. Maybe I'm being a kiss ass, but and thank you for being a fucking incredible client, my bro. Like I love having you on my program. I love our banter. I love when we chat on the phone, we chat on Zooms, email. Mate, you're an absolute legend and a really great leader. I have no doubt you'll be able to have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 clubs if you desire to. We never know what the world throws at us and what we'll want in 12 months, but there will be no reason why you couldn't 100%.
Thank you, my man. You're a legend. Oh, that's great.
Feel good. You're my number one, bro. You're that top 1% of clients. You're crushing it. So I appreciate you. Thank you.